Welcome to the Gone to the Dogs live preview show. We're very excited for night 3 of round 1 of the Star Sports and TRC English Greyhound Derby of 2025. And Toaster is looking an absolute picture in the beautiful sunshine that we have this Saturday. Welcome along. I am, of course, Danny Jackson. As always, this time, though, been joined by Jonathan Hobbs. Hobbsy, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Danny. Missed last night being here. I've caught up, seen every single heat, of course, and looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be really good, and that is just those pictures. It's just an amazing backdrop here, isn't it? It's just quite stunning when the weather is like it is today, albeit it's rather blustery, Jason, apart from that. So just, yeah, beware of yourself.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh would love it, a blustery day.
Jason Barrisford, of course, is joining us this evening. You're going to be wandering around the grounds, I think, this evening.
You didn't say that in rehearsal, you said running around. And, I'm just so pleased to be. I'm surprised I'm sitting where Darryl Williams was yesterday and there's not a blue plaque up here.
It's going to be fabulous. I cannot wait to see what we have in store this evening. We've got 11 heats on the go, but we are going to talk about last night, because I think there was a little bit of a highlight with one certain Derby champion from last year.
Of course, Liam Dowling's De La Di Da was a brilliant winner and realised an ambition for Liam last year. But this was absolutely sensational. I mean, you could argue it was probably his best ever run, certainly in terms of the clock. I mean, it's the fastest so far in the competition. Absolutely flawless, Jason, and down the far side. You know, he's obviously announced his intention to keep the trophy. He's looking to become the 5th greyhound only in the Derby history to retain the title. I mean, on that sort of form, he's got a great chance.
Absolutely incredible, and I'm surprised Joe Keneally wasn't wearing sunglasses, the twinkle in Liam's eye. The great thing about the Derby is that the Derby this year or any year doesn't need a performance like that from a defending champion, but it always produces things that are special, and that was ultra special.
It was. I mean, that was the highlight of, I think, everybody's night last night. But away from De La Di Da, who caught your eye? Well,
it was interesting when you see the results and you think, well, Ireland have done really well. I mean, another couple of winners, I think, for Graham Holland, Peter Cronin weighing in with a winner, Paul Hennessy as well. But actually, in terms of the UK versus Ireland, I think it was 6-5 in the UK's favour. And you know, I've always considered Derek Knight one of the legends of the game over here, and for him to bring out Ewan Benny, you know, the Sussex Cup champion last year, to do what he did in the heats was brilliant, because you can't put anything past Derek. You know, he's a fantastic trainer, and for him and then Seamus Cale in the same race to go head to head, I thought was really good. So that was good. Great to see Esther Driver. No Better Feeling was superb. Patrick Janssens, we know, has got a really good team, and a couple of winners for him last night, and he's got a couple of chances, major chances tonight.
And Jason?
Solo Mio was that was the real match, and obviously Michael Freddie was very much supported for that race. By the way, and after what happened with Randolph Scott as well, Peter Cronin spoke on the presentation yesterday. Is okay. I've got to say as well, I don't know how many people know this. One of the best named greyhounds in training. Do you know why?
Randolph Scott or
no,
Solomeo?
Solomeo.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Because Solomeo translates in Italian as my son. So you can shout, "Come on, my son!"
Very good.
Brilliant. I love the little tidbits you come out with, Jason. They're brilliant. Right, we're going to have a look at the outright betting from, I think, a couple of little market moves, because De La Di Da yesterday, prior to racing, you could have got 33 to 1. Now, unbelievably, Hobbsy, I mean, I can't believe he was that price, but 12 to 1 after last night.
Absolutely has been sliced in the betting now. Bocco's Diamond, of course, very much at the top, along with Kennel Mate Cheap Sandwiches. Proper Heiress, qualified, of course, beaten in Thursday's heats. Bombay Pat, we're going to see tonight, of course, looking for maybe a standard-setting performance. If you back Bombay Pat, De La Di Da, Droopy's Plunge, runner-up in the Time Juvenile Championship, you know, looking to frank that form, which, of course, we expect him to do. Headford Asher, you know, he's one of the most precocious stars, I think, in the entire Derby. He's up against last year's second, Boyle Sports Bob, as well. So almost a battle of the generations there, which would be good. And Martin Freddie, really good. I mean, look, he was beaten last night, but that was a good performance, I thought, in defeat, and I think there's more to come. And that star that is Barntic Bear, yeah, 25 to 1. Look, he's the type that people have backed even at bigger prices just to keep on qualifying. But I tell you, he was so impressive last year, wasn't he, Jason? But not in a race you would suspect. It wasn't a 500-metre contest, was it?
No, it was the 712, and It was the one and only time. So it just shows you, I mean, Pat, you've got to adore anyway, but to have, if you like, the gall, the brass, it's a family show, to go for the 7-12 and Derby final night, win so impressively, bring the house down, as you mentioned earlier, and then not go back there.
No, biggest cheer of the night, and yeah, 7-1-12. So look, they want to be in the Derby final. They don't really want to be in the 7-12 on Derby final night. But if things didn't happen to go to plan for Barnsley Ben, he never quite made the latter stages, then they've got that option on. And yeah, he raised the roof last year. He was absolutely brilliant. He'll do exactly the same again. But let's hope it's in the Derby final for connections and those that have backed him.
Indeed, the track record holder, of course, 28:44 is the time he recorded last October. Right, we're going to have a look at what we've got this evening. We kick-start at 6:35 with heat number 22. We've got heat 24 at 7:10, where we have Aero Secundai in action. In heat number 30, which is on the second page, actually, in the 8:57, we've got Headford Asher. But tonight, we round off with an absolute superstar, the 9:34. I can't wait to see Churchfield Sid back in action. There was talks of retirement, but he's back and he's in heat number 32. He obviously was fourth last year in the English Derby, so looking forward to seeing him, and we will have a look at him in action shortly. But we're going to have a look at heat 24 first. Let's have a look at the betting for Aero Secundai's race. We have 2-5, Barntic Bear, Aero Secundai 5-2, 10-1 Swift Underwater, and Clona Dash at 14-1. Now, we do have a few four-dog races this evening because there have been certain withdrawals this morning, but this is one of them. Aero Secundai, big price, I thought, of 5-2, but he is in with the track record holder, obviously.
Absolutely, Aero Secundai, Pall Mall champion of last year. He's got so much speed, he'll look to try to cut loose, and then, as we see that from last July at Oxford, he's going to look to try to run the finish off the likes of Barntic Bear. You just think, Jason, in a four-dog race, that any sort of running behind Barntic Bear is likely to pick up anything, including maybe Aero Secundai. But what do you think?
Well, if you'd asked Paul Carpenter and Kevin Deere and all the others involved with Barntic Bear as well, this is the perfect scenario for them. What they want is a real speedball who's going to go out in front in a four-runner race, get out of the way, set things up, as you've kind of alluded to. And Barntic Bear, I don't know what price we showed there, was it 5-2 on?
Something like that.
It was 2s on and people were steaming into that, so it'd be interesting to see what price he ends up as.
Yeah, especially with just four dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that, the Pall Mall, I think, showed us what we know about Aero Secundai. He's got some pretty good form around here, even in sprints as well. So he can absolutely motor. But you could sense that, I think, when I saw Paul Carpenter at the draw and also at the Star Sports preview, how proud they all are that despite all the machines that are running around Towcester and have been in recent weeks, whether it be in the Juvenile Championship or the Trial Stakes or in the first round, who's still the track record, he says. It's Barntic Bear.
It is indeed. Very much looking forward to seeing him later on this evening. But we've also got another highlight at 8:57. We've got a puppy, Headford Asher, who I'm very excited to see. At 11-10 he is at the moment. In against Boyle Sports Bob, though, the old boy at 2, 6-1 Untold Ruble, 7's Fabulous Sonique, and Droopy's Metaphor is at 10-1. But Headford Asher, very exciting puppy here.
Yeah, he's terrific, isn't he? I mean, look, three races in the UK, I think 3 races overall for Maxine Locke, and this is in the final of the Coral Hove Puppy Cup, and magnificent performance from Headford Asher. And it's a great litter as well, because Headford Dane, who's the litter brother, won the Premier Grand Racing Puppy Derby at Monmouth. We know that that's a great benchmark competition as well, but this was really good. Fantastic time to boot Headford Asher. And look, he's raw salt, he's young, but Maxine says, look, there's only one Derby. Let's go for it. We've always got next year, but why not put him in there? Look, he's a big strapping pup, and I think he's going to handle the situation here at Towcester. But it's a great test, isn't it? Up against last year's second, as I said at the top of the show, very much a clash of the generations. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting clash between the pair of them, isn't it?
It is. I can't help it, and I'd love to see Headford Asher last out, may call, and run a big race. I'm sure that will be the case. But it's kind of shades of what happened with Wiki Ned last year. When Wiki Ned was in the first round and actually had a horrid draw on that occasion. An Untold Ruble on the inside, I'm not 100% sure that's going to be brilliant for Headford Asher. And as obviously mentioned, and you've mentioned, Danny, Ball Sports Bob Yarsky is second on the outside. We know what he does. I'll just, go around on the outside and just kick into play. So if Headford Asher is untouched, it would be very, very interesting. But any slight bit of trouble, I think Ball Sports Bob might be there to pounce.
Now we're going to have a look at the final heat of this evening, the 9:34, because I think he's a TikTok sensation these days. Churchfield Sid in his striped jacket, 9-4 at the moment. It's wide open, so we've got Untold Dollar in here at 2-1. Sunnyside Broxy, who made the final as well last year, 9-4. Sixes Paying Barrier, 14-1 for Aero Boris. But Churchfield Sid, I mean, he's a lovable type. He was obviously injured for quite some time. The Richard Rees kennel have brought him back, and he's arguably better than he was before he went off.
Hey, look, he's been just an absolute star. Darryl Bear and Billy and Steve Evans. He's just... They're so proud of what this dog has done, and fair play to Richard, to Jackie and to Charlie, of course, because they've handled him so well. And this was in the semi-finals of the Arc Laurels at Perry Bar. Of course, things didn't quite work for him in the final. He never got really a chance to dominate on this occasion. But when he gets to the front, he's always a difficult dog to dislodge. And he loves Toaster, doesn't he? As you say, fourth last year. They had a fantastic run to the final then. And look, this, I think... This year's Derby is a bonus, really, in many ways. But, hey, look, they've just sort of parked retirement for at least a couple of weeks, and let's hope it's another 3 or 4 or 5. Where are we at? Yeah, about 4.
Fingers crossed, because I think his birthday's on the 11th of June, so just before the Derby final he would turn 4, but he's... absolutely flying out of his skin as a 4-year-old.
He is, and he's an absolute rock star. So he's in the right company with the Reeses, and they're obviously Saturday night people. I think they had one last night, and all the rest of their runners tonight as well. But Ted Soppett, Sunnyside Broxy, you mentioned, was back, formerly known as Ballymat Gizmo, another one who will be staying on strongly, has Aero Boris next door. So if holding Aero Boris, which you imagine might be hard to do initially, but that would move middle, Sunnyside Broxy could easily get the run of the race.
It's a fascinating end to the card coming up at 9:34 this evening. We're coming to the end of this show, but we're going to tease you with a couple of naps that we've got for this evening's action. I am with Tabletoppers in the 8:22. I think he's going to go really well. Loves the blue jacket, won the blue ribband from here as well, and he loves Toaster. Jason, Ballybow nuts for you?
Yes, second in the maiden Derby final, has a perfect draw, great early. I watched Teddy's race, who's in trap 2, and you see rail. But when Teddy, for Belinda Green, has had a dog on the inside, doesn't do anything stupid, keeps a straight line, so Ballybow nuts, no excuses for not getting the run on the inside.
Okay, Lenny's Desire for you, Hobbsy?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a greyhound who gets an interesting draw, but it could work, I think, for Lenny's Desire. I think he ran out of trap 1 in the maiden Derby final behind his kennel mates, Hello Diego. I think Paul Hennessy, Lee Crazer had a pretty good start to the Derby. Hopefully it continues with Lenny's Desire in the 6:51. Star Sports report money today for Bombay the Joker.
Okay.
One of John Mullins's. I suppose the message just has to be, come racing. 10% tote, of course, as well. Harry Finley will once again be here. He's championing that aspect of it. So, plenty of value to be had, whether you're on course or you're off course.
And Ashley Williams, who is doing our social media coverage. So if you have enjoyed seeing the little clips maybe of Eric knocking over a plant last night, our resident greyhound, he is on the socials. Churchfield Sid, he's his nap this evening, and let's hope that he can blast out and take control. That is it for our preview show. Make sure you do join us from 6:15 when we dive into the final night of the first round of the Star Sports and TRC English Greyhound Derby. Bye-bye for now.
Good.
Oh.